Yeah.
Is that an X? Is that an O? So sports talk? Yeah, let's go.
I got my swag. I got it back. The whole swag.
Swaggy. The slide.
Yeah. I got it back.
And that's
Oh,
without an
swag.
energy drink.
He's doing this. Swaggy E.
Yeah. We are definitely TikTok the dance
all the way
moves.
back. I got it all the way back. Welcome to XO Sports Talk, everybody. I hope you're tuning in tonight because I'm telling you, we got some hot news for you right here on XO Sports Talk Live. I got the fellas with me. Brian, Aaron, Terry, we here. We're missing our boy Malcolm. Malcolm, wherever you're at, man. Listen, man, tune in, man. Check us out, man. We miss you, brother. I know you doing that solo career now, man. But watch out, man. Them solo careers could be real sketchy, bro. Come on back home. Come on back home, man. We got a spot for you right here on XO Sports Talk. What's up, everybody? Fellas, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Man,
Hello, everybody.
It's going down. It's going down in the town. Woo, woo, woo. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
Ready like Freddy, as they old
Come on,
old
man.
dudes
XO
say.
Sports Talk is right here. We're coming at you live.
Let's go.
And I was asked, why do I punch my chest and then point out? And that's for my little grandson. I said,
Oh.
every time I'm going to punch my chest and point the finger, I love you. So that's the reason why.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
That's cool.
All
Cool.
right.
All right.
All right.
I thought it was a heartburn or something. That's a reflex.
Yeah, man.
Everybody's a comedian.
Eating those egg salad sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, please tell them about the subscribe button.
XO Sports Talk would like to thank all our viewers for their support. We are currently streaming on all your favorite podcast platforms. If you are watching the show on YouTube, be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and click that share button. Let the people know what you into, what you watching. And feel free to join in on the show on the live chat where you can post your comments, or you can call 475-221-5006 to join in on the conversation. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Welcome.
Like a
Welcome.
plan to me.
Yeah. Welcome,
Yeah.
everybody.
Guys, some sad news out of the NFL for the Baltimore Ravens. Two gentlemen passed away. One, Jalen Ferguson. It was a tragic loss for the Ravens family. Earlier Wednesday, the team announced that the linebacker passed away at the age of 26. Ferguson, the third-round pick by the Baltimore Ravens in 2019 out of Louisiana Tech, recorded 62 tackles and 4.5 sacks across this 3-year season. The medical squad was there. They wasn't able to revive him, which is truly sad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Too young. Way too young.
Yeah, definitely.
and another loss for the organization was Saragusa. Tony Saragusa
Goose.
Mm-hmm.
died in his sleep, according to the Pro Football Network, known affectionately as the Goose. Saragusa spent 12 years in the NFL with the Colts and the Ravens, winning the Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
He spent over a decade on the sidelines as an analyst for the NFL, for Fox NFL Sunday. And guys, you know, for the Steeler fans, he was a tough nose tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old
Yeah.
school,
Oh, yeah.
the belly sticking out.
Yep.
He was going to
But-
clog that middle.
He was going to clog
Oh,
that
yeah.
middle. And
Yep.
that was the style of football back then when it was about you had to have a good running game and you had to have a good nose tackle in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was a good nose tackle.
And man, he transitioned well over to the field as an analyst on the field.
Yeah.
He was like he reminded me a little bit of Madden, the way he would bring the game and make it fun for just
Yeah.
your average spectators.
Yep.
And,
He would bring it right
great
into your living room, and that's what I liked about him when he was on the sidelines. He'd bring it right there into your living room, so you felt like you were right there in the stadium, even though you were home watching it on your couch.
and guys,
Yeah.
to me, we at times we let things go, forget about things until something sad happens. And now I'm like, why did they let him go?
That's a good question.
He was a colorful personality on the sidelines.
And everybody
Yeah.
liked him. Like you said,
I
we
don't
Steeler
know.
fans, and like I said, he transitioned so easily over to the booth or to the field.
To the
He
field,
was
to the
that-
sidelines.
He was truly that blue collar guy on the sidelines that made the game fun on the sidelines. And he can tell you still about the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
And you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, I can't believe he's gone. And why was he gone from the sidelines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about the sidelines, some of the people that they have on the sidelines that are boring,
Mhm.
flat out, whether they're
Absolutely.
former football players or the girls, the guys. Some of them are just flat out boring. And he had so much personality on the sidelines.
The goose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And for those-
Awesome and
Like Brian
hilarious.
said, he was like Madden. He was like, he was able to bring the game to your diehard fans and, the fans that were tuning in because maybe it was a big game or something.
Mhm.
He was able to break it down, break down that terminology so that
Absolutely.
everybody understood what was going on,
Yeah. And let's not forget, for the fans or younger fans who may not have seen him play, his name may not have stood out like a Ray Lewis, but he freed up areas so
Absolutely.
Ray Lewis and them could get to those
Absolutely.
places.
Bingo.
He would
Oh,
take
yeah.
up two people.
Absolutely
Oh,
right.
yeah.
So
Yes.
Yep.
yeah,
And that was old style football, Brian. You're absolutely right. Your job is to clog up the middle and keep Ray Lewis' jersey clean so he can go in either blitz
Yeah.
yeah,
or get a good shot on the running back.
arguably one of the top 3 defenses probably ever. I don't know. For
That
my
was a
gen,
tough
I don't
defense.
remember.
That Baltimore Ravens defense was solid. They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we forget that he started his career with the Colts.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
sure did. Yeah,
And he came over later to the Baltimore Ravens,
Mm.
where that defense, they just stacked the deck
yeah.
Mhm.
of a lot of defensive talent they had on that team.
Yeah, there was another big guy next to him. I can't remember his
They
name.
had Saragusa.
And
They
who's the
also
other big
had
D?
Rod Woodson.
Yeah, but who's that
on the
other
team.
big D tackle?
The tackle. I don't know who it
There was
is
another
offhand.
big D tackle next to
Remember his
him.
name.
I can't think of his
remember
name
his
right
name.
now.
But they-
They were
they
two
had-
big
it was
ones.
tough,
They were two
too.
big boys.
yeah, they were just
Yeah.
immovable objects.
Yeah. The goose.
The Goose lives.
But
We enjoyed your career, Goose.
yes, dead at the age. Tony Saragusa dead at the age of 55. MLB NHL update. Emerson.
Well, hello, everybody. This is episode number 57 of Exo Sports Talk. And I got the power rankings in the Major League Baseball diamond this week. And we're going to go right back to New York, the New York Yankees. But they got their block knocked off because the Toronto came in there and stopped that 9-game winning streak on Sunday. And I was so happy to see it. And then
I'm sorry, Emerson.
Yeah.
And, like and freeze.
Yeah.
Who won the series?
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, big deal.
Sometimes
I
you
just
gotta
wanted to
go with
see.
that.
I wanted to see that win
Second-
streak end.
Okay, and second of all, who put up the most runs in that series?
You know what? That really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Whenever I can see the
man.
Yankees lose, I
Yeah.
want to see them lose. That's
Yesterday's
what I want to
price
see.
is not today's price.
Yeah.
I might care about what they did then.
Yeah. and
Oh.
then Tampa put it on you too. 3 home runs by Isaac
Yeah.
Pardis in a 5-4 win. They acquired him back in April sometime, and I don't know if they knew they were getting this versatile player, this young infield player with great plate discipline and everything. But he paid dividends against the Yankees. He'll always be able to tell his kids and his grandkids, you know what? I hit 3 home runs against the New York Yankees while they were one of the top teams in the American League. So big up to Tampa for knocking off the Yankees, but the Yankees still remain number 1 in the power rankings this week. Followed
After
by
all of
number
that.
2, the New York Mets. The New York Mets, listen, they're still playing good ball right now. They're probably getting ready to get Max back. I heard he was did a bullpen session or 2, threw over 65 pitches. So they're getting one of their starting pitchers back. So they're just going to get stronger as we go towards the All-Star break. And after the All-Star break, they should start to get all their pieces back to go for the stretch. Coming in at number 3 this week, the San Diego Padres. Listen, they have a few injuries too. I think Machado's been nursing some injuries, but listen, they got some other players. Joe Musgrove, he's been carrying them, and they're just doing what they need to do to stay afloat, to keep pace with my Los Angeles Dodgers. All right, but they are looking good. I'm telling you, San Diego's going to be a tough out for us. I'm worrying about them because they're in the National League West. But coming in at number 4 this week, the Houston Astros. Listen, we talked about them last week in the show before. What a job Dusty Baker's doing.
Dusty.
They just keep winning. They just keep winning. They're just a solid team. They have a solid coach, defensively, offensively, pitching. They're just playing good, solid baseball right now. And that's what you want to be able to do. Play good, solid baseball right now, get to the All-Star break, come out swinging after the All-Star break, and be healthy when we get to October for those pennant races. So I'm just saying, look out. I don't know what's going to happen down the stretch, but Houston Astros are going to have something to say about what goes on in the American League. So watch out, all you other contenders in the American League, because the Houston Astros are going to be right there. And then at number 5 in our power rankings for this week in the MLB, we got my Los Angeles Dodgers. Listen, they had some ups, they had some downs, but listen, they're staying right there. We got some injuries right now. One of our top players, Mookie Betts, and he's nursing a little injury. I hope he gets back real soon, but I don't want them to rush him back because we're going to need him after the All-Star break. So that's my top 5 from the Major League Baseball. I also want to send out to Ohtani, who had like 8 RBIs in a game this week. What a player, a pitcher, a hitter. I don't know when the last time we've seen this from a player like Babe Ruth, I guess, would be the other player. And I think we talked about that sometime earlier this year. He's just an incredible player. I mean, pitching, hitting. What do you do with that? You just don't see that anymore. And he's just an evolutionary player right now that we're looking and we're able to witness this. So big up to Ohtani. He's just doing what he needs to do to be a standout player in this game. So that is my news from the Major League Baseball. But I need to move over to the ice because the ice is getting hot. And it's getting very, very hot. It's getting so hot that it might melt. But first of all, I want to send a big shout out to none other than Austin Matthews, who was this year's NHL MVP winner, Hart Trophy and Lindsay Award winner. Over 60 goals this year. That feat hasn't been done. I guess the last time it was maybe over 10 years ago. Yeah. But Austin Matthews, we want to send a big shout out to you for a job well done, a season well done. You weren't able to get your team here to the Stanley Cup, but you really you had a heck of a year. And Austin Matthews, we send a big shout out to you from Exo Sports Talk. And now to the Stanley Cup. We at the Stanley Cup, y'all. Listen, the last score I read, I think, let me just double check. I think the Tampa Bay Lightning, they were up in that game.
Yeah,
Listen, let's just double check that. I want to make sure. Is that the same score?
Same score.
Tampa Bay is up right now. Listen, we know that Colorado came in there and they threw the first two punches. They went up 2-0 in this series, but the champs, the two-time defending champs said, wait a minute. And listen, if you saw game 2, fellas, I'm telling you, it was just amazing. They scored 7 goals on Bolesky, who's one of the best in the business in goalies. He's one of the best goalies in the business. But then they said, Tampa Bay said, we're coming back and we're going to strike lightning like we always do. And we're going to knock you down. So listen, they got back home. They got in front of their home fans and they said, listen, we are the two-time defending champs for a reason. And we're going to show our championship pedigree. And they said, we're not just going out like that. They need to win this game tonight. They do not want to go down 3-1 to the Colorado Avalanche because they could be in big, big trouble. I know they're the defending champs, but this Avalanche team, they're no slouches. They're tough. They're gritty. And they will hit you in the mouth, and they're fast. They're a really fast team. I didn't realize how fast they were till I started watching them more in this series right here. So I'm telling you, Tampa Bay, you guys better put on your hard hats, bring your lunch pail and all of that, because Colorado may have something to say about your championship. But I believe I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning to win this series. Ouch. They're going to even it up tonight, and they're going to go on and win it. That's my prediction. That's my
Tampa
news
too.
for this week in the NHL. There's something about championship pedigree. It's just something about it.
They're going Colorado on 7.
I'm taking Tampa. And Tampa will go for the trifecta, which hasn't, I don't think it's ever been done. I can't remember.
I know. Listen,
I don't think it's ever been done in hockey.
So
famous lyrics from John Denver. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
We're going into the second period.
So Gore, you like Colorado? You like Colorado taking it this year? Okay.
I want nothing out of Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't want the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That's
I don't
a true
want the
Yankee fan talking right
Tampa
there.
Bay.
You just mad because
Devil Rays.
the Rays just beat the Yankees. You're just mad about that. Yeah, that's what you're just mad about.
Devil Rays, whatever they are. I don't want nothing out of Tampa Bay. So moving right along. Thank you, Emerson, for the update.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors beating the Boston Celtics 103-90. Emerson, who did you have to win the championship?
I had the Celtics.
Why did you have the Celtics?
I had the Leprechauns. I had the parquet floor. I had the Larry Bird mystique. I had the ML Carr towel waving, but it just didn't happen. You know why? Because the Warriors did it. The Warriors, they did it. The Warriors. It was the Warriors. They did it.
If nobody doesn't know what he's talking about a B-movie classic called The Warriors.
1978, 1979, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to find the movie? The Warriors.
The Warriors did it.
Was a classic.
The Warriors.
And the funny thing is, one of the lead, one of the stars in the movie, The Warriors, he went on to play in 48 Hours.
Yeah.
And
yes,
he was
Gans.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, wasn't he Gans?
Gans was in there.
What?
He was in there too.
Gans was in there.
Gans,
you're absolutely right.
He played Gans.
So who's the other guy you talking about, Aaron?
Luther.
Oh yeah, Luther. Yeah, he was in there
right.
too.
Yeah.
Luther was the one that got Eddie Murphy opened the door and he said, Luther.
Yeah.
yeah. I forgot about he was in there too. Yeah.
But that was a
Warriors.
B movie.
Come out and play.
Yeah, but the Warriors did come out and play and beat the Boston Celtics, and
Yes, they did.
right in the garden.
Big ups to the Warriors. I want to first tip my hat to Coach Steve Kerr. I think he had a special place in this victory and in this championship, being able to put all those pieces and gel those pieces together. I know a lot of people are speculating about some of his coaching decisions that he has made throughout this series and throughout the playoffs, or even throughout the course of this year. Some people was talking about he should have opened up the bench a little bit more. There are other times in games where they didn't think he played his bench enough, but he did what he needed to do. He knew the makeup of his team better than any of us that are on the couch being couch coaches. And I want to first tip my hat to Coach Steve Kerr. Secondly, and most importantly, to one of the greatest shooters of our time, Mr. Steph Curry, MVP, hands down, one of the best shooters I've ever seen in my life. He's one of the best point guards to play this game, and we need to give him his props. And as they say, give him his props right now because he deserves it. He's earned it. This guy has carried his team, winning with Kevin Durant, winning without Kevin Durant, winning with another nucleus of players that he has right now that they've been able to compile both through free agency and through the draft. And he has shown the true championship warrior that he is. And it was just such a great moment to see with him and his family, his dad, his mom, his wife. I just enjoyed the whole moment. And I was just happy for him that he gets to embrace this. And I know Brian said something on our other show that I think he should have won that MVP back in 2015. I think was it who won that MVP? I
Iggy.
can't remember.
Iggy
won that MVP.
Iguodala.
Yeah, so I think he should have won it then. But sometimes you just have to wait for your time and your season. I think this is his time. This is his season. He wanted to show everybody that I can be the leader of this franchise, be the face of this franchise, and he proved as such. So big ups to the Warriors, Coach Steve Kerr, and to Steph Curry, one of the greatest players, greatest shooters of our time. I don't think we'll ever see another shooter like this in a long, long time.
Terry.
I mean, it wasn't. I had the Warriors in 7, so for me, it wasn't a big surprise. I felt like Golden State had the best player in the series in Stephen Curry. So, they also had the right mixture of veteran players in Steph, Draymond, Clay, and Iguodala. And then they had a young mix of players like Wiggins, who showed up big time in this series. Looney, who showed up not really big in this series, but the series before that. And then Gary Payton Jr. paid you big dividends on defense. And Jordan Poole, who he didn't have a good series, but I'll say this, he still played loose. So, you still had to respect him out there on the floor. He didn't hit as many shots as he was expected to, but he did make some shots, key shots. But on Boston's part, they played a good series. I don't want to take anything away from them. I mean, they went in and took game 1. They lost a couple games that they probably should have won. But I think it was just their lack of, or I won't even say lack, the experience of the finals, it caught up with them.
Yep.
And they were kind of like deer in the headlights. But as Emerson said, you got to give your hats off to Steve Kerr. I would even say the whole organization. If you look at that organization, every NBA team wants to be that organization. Top down, they got ownership that's willing to spend money. They took a chance on Wiggins when everybody thought they were crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And they paid big dividends for him. They scout and they draft well. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole. I mean, Kuminga. These are Kuminga didn't even come off the bench and play. So, watch out for him next year.
Yeah.
And, I think the combination of, and Wiseman.
For next year.
So I think just the combination of that, plus you have a coach who's a player's coach, and the fact that he's won, I think, 5 championships as a player, that's something that the players respect, because, you know what you're talking about when you win championships. And I also want to give him credit as well for coming in, Steve Kerr credit. He came in and he could have put the reins on Steph, but he didn't change much from what Mark Jackson did, in my opinion. And he kind of let them play. He let Clay and Steph find their way. And it paid off big time. They're going to be around for a while because they just have a system, man. Their system, the players buy into it. And the most important player that needs to buy into it is Steph Curry. And they're going to be around for a while. So they're built to win championships, in my opinion.
Brian.
And I'm just going to reiterate a few things. Steve Kerr, when he originally took over the team, I thought, he just inherited a good team, coaching I really wasn't sure about, but he has made pivotal moves in coaching decisions. Even in that 2015 when Iggy won that MVP, he wasn't even starting, and he put him into the starting lineup, and it kind of affected LeBron in some way. He still got his points, but it did alter the series. And in one of these games, I can't remember which game it was. I remember Aaron was talking about, he said bench Draymond, and he put him on the bench for a couple of minutes because he wasn't producing at that given time, and it was a factor in that game. So he has made some good coaching moves and decisions. I had picked Boston to win. I thought they would. I thought they had the wings, but I did say it would come down to their shot selection. And that comes to what Terry was saying about their playoff or finals experience. They didn't have any. And you could see how Golden State took advantage of that. You can't turn the ball over against Golden State. You don't want to give them more opportunities to score because it's hard enough to stop them from scoring, which you can't do hardly anyway. So if you give them more opportunities, it's a disaster just waiting to happen. But are you surprised they won? No, I'm not surprised they won. We all knew they had the firepower to win it. Once the pool started heating up, and then you had the Clay sticking to the wall, and then you got the chef in there cooking up this curry. It was a disaster just waiting to happen. All the ingredients just to win the championship. And that's what they did. So kudos to them for winning. And hopefully Boston can build off this too, because Golden State is going to be there. Because as Terry said, their talent on the bench is still something to be looked at because they're coming.
Yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
Terry went already.
No, that's not it. I have a question for Terry.
Oh, okay.
Terry, did you take Boston to win the series?
I'm pretty sure I took the Warriors.
He took the Warriors. 7. It was just me and Emerson that took Boston.
All right, Terry.
Go back and check the
you can ride. You can ride in the caddy with
question. Is Steve Kerr, how many rings he got? Do he have 9? As a player and coach?
8.
I meant to tell somebody to check that out while I was talking, but if he gets a couple more, do you throw him above that Phil Jackson?
No.
Phil's got what? 11?
The reason why I would say
Phil got 11.
is Phil was able to convince Michael Jordan to change his style of basketball, and he had to get Shaquille O'Neal to buy into his system. So Phil won championships with Chicago and the Lakers.
Well, think about you got 3.
No, man. Kerr,
you got
Kerr is up
Kevin
there.
Durant. Curry, Clay, and you still had to make that work, even though it's their system. But
it's still the same team.
Yeah.
Going to a different team.
What you mean?
Well,
you had to
when he did that. When you're talking about Phil Jackson was there with Michael Jordan, just when they were pretty much getting away from the physical style of basketball.
Yeah.
And he had to convince a young Michael Jordan, you got to stop taking too many shots and help the players around you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to fourth period, the game's yours.
Yeah.
And he was able to sell that to Michael Jordan. And if you remember, Michael Jordan got that first coach fired. The first coach was Doug Collins. He was like, get this guy out of here. And they sent Doug Collins on his way. So Phil didn't have no name as a coach. But Michael Jordan bought into it.
Yeah.
So now you telling Phil to go to the Lakers. Kobe has an ideal because his idol was Michael Jordan. But now, how does he get Shaq eating 3 Musketeers and a Snicker bar to get his butt in shape and to buy in on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So 2 teams, different stars. I would still unfortunately put Phil up there.
Yeah. Okay.
But back to me, I'm going to take my victory lap. T, you can jump in the car and join me because you took Golden State.
I got shotgun.
Where I said before, I said I'm going with Golden State because they're going to have the veterans and some youth. And at the right time, Wiggins, no name, youth, showed up in the game and saved Steph Curry's bacon. And at one time when he dunked the basketball, it looked like somebody lifted him to slam that basketball. It was like watching a Michael Jordan dunk. But I have a question. And the other thing I have to say is good job, like Brian said, good job to the Golden State Warriors scouting department. They didn't say, oh, we got to go out and give up a first round pick. They just stayed within their system on what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They knew they were going into a new arena. They didn't panic and say, okay, we got to get another big name to come in here and play with Steph Curry. They said, nope, just let the system play out. What's the guy that was hurt for a couple of seasons? Klay Thomas. They just Klay Thompson. They just let him go ahead, take it easy, get yourself back right. They didn't panic.
Yeah. And then that goes back to that not only did they not panic, they was like with the D'Angelo Russell, as I said last time. Once they see it didn't work, they didn't waste no time. They was like, out of here, let's try something else.
Yeah. And the other thing that it got to me was Tatum. I didn't understand Tatum when Patterson was on him. I'm saying,
who was on him? Peyton
Jr.
Oh,
Peyton Jr. Yeah,
Peyton Jr. I'm sorry.
Okay.
When Peyton Jr. was on him, I'm saying to myself, beat him down.
Yeah.
Be the bully against this kid. You got this short little guy with the headband on his head. Beat him into the ground.
Yeah.
And he let that little guy play like he was 6'10". And the person that I really felt sorry for in that series was Williams, the big man for Boston.
Yeah, he gave everything he had.
He was hurting. And he just kept on going. Now, I have a question for you guys before we move on. If they come back with the same roster right now.
Which team?
Boston and Golden State. And I'm going to start it off with Emerson. Do you think Boston next year can beat Golden State?
Let me say this: we don't know what's going to happen in the offseason as far as teams
Emerson. This was not for you to get up there with the eraser. This is just same team.
But
right now,
I think Golden State will probably win.
Terry.
Same rosters, but a year more experience, Golden State. Because they're young players. To me, they're playing with house money now. And the goal for Golden State is just to get back to the finals. So you play your young guys some more minutes. They get that experience. Your Kumingas, who else they have? Moody. I feel if Wiseman comes back, that's another thing now you got to deal with. The floors even spread even wider. So definitely Golden State. If they can stay healthy and have the same team, Golden State.
That was where I was going to go. Not to interrupt, I was going to try to get there before I got interrupted. Wiseman was not a part of the roster. So it's not the same roster. Even though he's on the roster, he didn't play this year. So when you talk about the same rosters, I'm looking at guys that didn't play. We're talking injuries and all those things. We have to look at all those different components and put those into the equation. So I would take Golden State because I like the rim protector that Wiseman can be. He has the potential to be a great rim protector. Earlier in that series, I didn't think they had anyone to protect the rim. And I thought Boston was getting the best of them on the boards, where Horford was able to bang inside and do some things. But now you say the same rosters. No, we have to look at that because Wiseman didn't play.
Yeah,
right.
That was my point.
I'm sorry, Emerson.
Yeah. And I'm going to actually go the opposite way. I'm going to go Boston. With the year more experience and having the two elite wing players, which to me, I don't think Golden State has pretty much anybody on their roster that can stop them. They just need to find a way to get better shot selections and easier buckets. So to me, me and Terry had this discussion a little bit at some point in time. I said they should run a little bit of the triangle just so they can be at the elbows or in the post. The double team will have to come and they can kind of facilitate to other players and get them their shots. Golden State, yeah, definitely. I could say, yeah, I could see them coming back, but the Wiseman thing kind of intrigues me because Golden State is at their best playing small ball. Because if you play Wiseman, where do you put Draymond? Then you talk about you having two players on the floor who really can't stretch the floor. To me,
Wiseman can shoot a little bit.
Yeah, actually pretty.
He can shoot a little bit.
I like his mid. Well, I won't call it a mid range, but he can give you something. I just think he brings another element to the team.
Yeah. Well.
Period.
Yeah.
He's just wide. The wingspan that he presents to teams. I mean, it would just.
Yeah, I just don't think him and Draymond would be good on the floor together. To me, but I guess we'll see because he really hasn't played in how many years has he been there? 2?
This might be 3 now.
Yeah,
this will be coming up on his 3rd year.
Right?
He's been there 2 years.
Oh wow!
So
so
we'll see how it work.
And I want to also say, Aaron, you said something about Wiggins. Wiggins played big dividends in this series because he was a player really nobody really wanted over the last few years. He was traded a couple times and, former number 1 pick overall. Mm-hmm. So, Aaron, you pointed out something good there when you talked about Wiggins playing big dividends in this series.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I'm sorry. I thought I had a flashback of you with when we were playing Madden as teenagers, how you would take the linebacker and move him into the safety position and take the wide receiver and put him in the linebacker's position. I thought you were going to do one of those things with me. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh,
That was a complete flashback of the Madden days.
I was just really good at Madden. Nobody could really beat me. So,
Ooh.
I was just really good at that.
Oh, wow.
Everybody on this panel,
We're going to stay on this
panel knows
We're
that.
definitely
table
going to
that.
Joe knows the truth. Joe knows.
Everybody on this panel knows that, man. Who's the best?
For me, I would say.
Before we move on, Aaron, I just want to touch on something that you mentioned about Gary Payton Jr. and Tatum. I think you're right. Tatum should have been a little bit more aggressive playing against him. But I had a coworker that went to that game 6. And I was kind of saying the same thing, like, why are they settling for shots? And, we talked about how at the end of the game, like Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they seemed tired. And he was there. He had really good seats. I guess he had a little connection with someone that works at ESPN. And he said he was there and he saw it. He said what happened was Golden State's offense wore down Tatum and Brown because he's like, look at it like this.
Yeah.
When Tatum and Brown get the ball and they isolate, you got guys like Steph Curry or Draymond who could kind of rest because the ball, Brown's going to the basket. So you really don't have to worry. He was saying with Golden State, he said not only was it physically, but mentally, you had to stay in tune for 48 minutes on the defensive end because a pick came, you had to remember to switch. You had to remember your coverages. You had to remember to rotate. And he was like, at the end of the third quarter, you could see Tatum and Brown were gassed.
Yeah.
So they had nothing in the tank,
Yeah.
And so he just, kudos to him because I felt like, why isn't Tatum being more aggressive? But maybe he just didn't have the legs.
He didn't have the legs.
Yes.
And that was oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, T.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying that's the effect that Golden State's forget. You forget about Steph Curry, just the offensive movement that they have on teams.
Yeah.
And
wears them down.
The thing to me is, I think the next time if you keep the rosters the same, Boston will beat them. And one of the things that, shame on Boston, but you better practice this come next in the off season. You have to wear down Steph Curry. You've got to make Steph Curry go through picks. If Steph Curry's going to make you run around after him, then you beat him down.
Yeah.
And they did not wear him down. They came close in one game, but you've got to, you want to pick him. Boom. Hit him. Yeah. And I'm saying to myself, they had too much respect for him.
Golden State kind of knows how to hide him. That's why the enforcer, Draymond, is out there.
No, I understand you got the enforcer, but if you make Steph Curry keep going through picks, guess what? Steph Curry's got to run around again on offense.
I mean, they started the game out with Smart even posting them up in that last game, and then they just kind of went away from it.
They went away from it. I'm saying to myself, what's going on? And the other thing to me is, I think Tatum the next time around, Smart, who I'm not wild about, are going to be ready for Draymond Green's antics. Because I think this coach is going to say, all right, you've seen his nonsense. What's your focus?
Yeah.
Play mature. Forget about him. Because next year, that kid Williams is going to be 100%.
Yeah.
And if that kid Williams is 100%, Draymond's got nothing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's all those antics that Draymond, it's not going to work.
That's what I said.
Because
Everybody needs a Draymond
I
Green
thought,
on their team.
yeah, you seen Boston. It was just too many turnovers. It was just an experience.
Yeah, the turnovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turnovers were, yeah.
So
Now, guys, Steph Curry wins the MVP. Guys, where do you put Steph Curry's NBA championship performance in this championship series? Terry.
I mean, wow. I mean, his game 6 performance was impressive, right? I mean, led the team with 34 points, I believe. He shot 50% from the field. What do you have? Like 6 3-pointers. He had 7 boards too, which I found that kind of interesting that he got 7 boards, being one of the smaller players
7 assists
in the game, on 40 minutes. Yeah. So his numbers in the series, overall in terms of stats, he was averaging 31 points. He shot 48% from the field and 43% from the 3-point line. I don't know if that it. I want to say that's got to be a record. I have to look it up, but that's got to be a record. I don't know if there's been a player in the finals that shot 48% from the field and 43% from the 3-point line. To me, there's no doubt in my mind with Klay Thompson and Draymond, who seemed a step slow in this series, that Steph Curry was the reason why they won this NBA championship. So he deserves an MVP.
Emerson.
Kudos to him.
I want to go back to the game where he had 43 points. I want to say like 10 rebounds or something, or 12 rebounds, something crazy. And made like 7 threes. That was just incredible. Like, he just refused to let his team lose. And when you have that type of instinct in you, and you will your team to win, listen, I'm going to make sure that we don't lose this basketball game. And that's what he exhibited that night. That 43-point game, I think that was the game where they either they even up the series. I can't remember. I got to go back and look at my notes. But that 43-point performance was one of the greatest performances I've seen in the NBA Finals. And I just couldn't believe what I was watching this young man do on the basketball court. So I just want to rank him up there. When you say, where do I rank him as far as the NBA Finals performance, that may be a top 5 NBA performance of all time.
Brian.
Yeah, and I think Emerson is right. I think top 5 in there. And this is just another box checked off in his career that's still ongoing, as we get to see and witness one of the best shooters in the game that we've ever seen, or the game has ever seen so far. So with that, you gotta just tip your hat off to him. And as Terry's saying, not only was he giving you the points, but he gave you 7 rebounds and 7 assists. And with that 7 rebounds, that kind of lets you know right there that Boston must have been taking some jumpers, because long rebounds, I'm guessing that's how you would kind of get those kind of stats when you look at it. But to know that he's able to do the things that he's trying to do, when as Aaron, we talked about last week, you was talking about, well, Wiggins may get MVP, and we was like, well, if Steph gets 20, we were saying it's a different 20 because the team is trying to stop him.
Exactly.
And this guy, the team was trying to stop him, and he still put up 34 on the percentages of what Terry was just saying. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just we witness greatness right now. We are witnessing that, and like I have mentioned, where is he on that top 10? Is he on that top 10 of all greatest all time?
Yeah.
As Steph said in the parade, what they gonna say now?
What can they say?
What can they say? Yeah. Oh.
And Brian, not to cut you off, I want to go back to something when we were talking about Luka Doncic in the series when they were playing in the playoffs this year. I said night in and night out. Teams come in there with everything they have planned. The main focus is we're going to stop Steph Curry. And he's going in and night out, knowing he's going to see multiple defense assignments. But he still finds a way. And that was game 4 that he scored that 43 points and 10 rebounds. 43 and 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
That was a big performance.
He's a bad man.
Oh, yeah.
Guys. Oh, you're going to love this one. The NBA rumor mill has Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons going to the Los Angeles Lakers for Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Emerson, do you make that trade?
It's not going to happen. The Lakers are not going to trade Anthony Davis for no tea in China, no beans in Boston, and no crab meat in Maryland.
Question is, would you do it?
Yes.
It's not going to happen. I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it?
I'm not letting go Anthony Davis, one of the most skilled big men in this game. I know his best ability, as Malcolm would always say if he was here, is availability. Malcolm, I had to throw that in there for you. But if Anthony Davis gets healthy and we see a healthy Anthony Davis, or let me say this, if we see a trade and Anthony Davis goes somewhere and he's healthy for the next 3 years without any injury, the Lakers will be kicking themselves down the steps for the next 20 years.
You said if.
And I've seen that happen. I've seen players. Hold on. Let me finish my point, and I'll let you go. I've seen players go from one team. They had injuries throughout their career with that team. Go to another team, and they're injury free for the next 4 years, and they go to 3 All-Star games, go to championships and all those different things, because that team said, we're done with them. He's got the injury bug, and we're going to put. And let me just back up while we're still talking about Steph Curry too. There was a time the Golden State Warriors rumor mill was to trade Steph Curry because he had some ankle issues and he couldn't stay healthy with those ankles. And I know some of you guys on this panel know what I'm talking about. There were talk of trading Steph Curry because of his ankles injury. Can you imagine if they would have done that? Yeah. And he goes to some other team and he's won 2 other championships. I just want to throw that in there. So be careful when you talk about trading Anthony Davis.
Well, I'm going to go next.
Please go, bro.
Yeah. Because Marvel cartoon had a cartoon called What If? So what if this happened? And what if Captain America was a woman and this and that? There was all kind of different scenarios.
Oh, man.
We're talking about reality, my friend. And reality says this guy can't stay on the court.
He dressed nice.
There's some buzz on Twitter that says he got hurt opening his closet door. And so Anthony Davis. So I look at it as you saying would you say he's a top 10 player right now?
No.
He's not in the top 10?
No.
Boy, that's bad right there. So
not in the top 10.
So besides that, I'll say, Aaron, that's probably won't happen. I don't think there's ever been in the league where you had 4 all-star players traded for each other, pretty much still in the prime of their careers. So what if, I would do it if I was the Lakers. I would do anything to get Anthony Davis out of there. I would do it. But on to that, I just want to go into a little bit of this Kyrie Irving. They talking about his contract and the NBA players. I really think they need to look at this because what they're doing. NBA, who is that? NBA, MLB, and NFL. What do they have that's different? NFL doesn't have guarantee, right? Contracts?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. right now they're talking about Kyrie getting like a 3-year or 5-year 3-year contract with incentive to play. So with that, to me, it's like owners are trying to foresee what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to get these players not to get that guaranteed money. Because I was thinking before, I was like, wow, going back to our like Grant Hills, Tracy McGrady's, the contracts used to be like 10, 12 years. Now they only getting it like 5 years. Now, if you do Kyrie, free incentive base, that's just going to open the doors up for owners. Like Lay's potato chips. You can't have just one. You get one, you just want more. So that's just something to keep the eye on.
Wow.
I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting because I think owners will use that if Kyrie has to sign it for the simple fact, I see your past history, that you've been a player and your resume shows that you want to pick and choose when you want to play. So here's this little clause in the contract. The ones that play every day, and that's the star. No, I'm not signing that because I come to work every day. You're making the player accountable.
Yep.
And the NBA players, unfortunately, have their own selves to blame for that.
Yeah.
So I would like to see it because I don't want to hear nothing about, I need a rest day. I wish I could go and tell my boss I need a rest day. Aaron, we need you to break out this gate with the jackhammer. You know, boss, I need a rest day. This, this isn't going to work for me today. But I'll be in tomorrow because it's payday. No. For me, you know how I feel about the Lakers. I would throw in LeBron. Everybody, come on, get out of here. I would just by the time I get finished with the Lakers, you would hear nothing but crickets in the locker room because there'd be nobody left. The team is old. The Lakers had a good run. They got an NBA championship out of LeBron. This kid, Davis, is 29 years old now, and he can't stay healthy. And that's a bad resume.
Especially when you start to get older.
Yep. He's not going to get healthier. He's only going to get worse. So my feelings is like this. You've got a window of maybe 3 more years with LeBron. Sell. Like Belichick would say, when you have a star, you don't hold on to the star until they're at the end of their career. You get rid of the star so you can get something in return. And if the Lakers had the right management team in the front office, they would have built the right team around LeBron. They wouldn't have brought in old man Westbrook. You brought in Davis because it was the right time to bring him in, and now it's the right time to get rid of him and send Westbrook on his way. And I would send LeBron on his way.
I'm sure LeBron got a trade clause in his, or he at least gonna have some say if he's going or not. Yeah.
He said trade LeBron.
You only have 3 more years with LeBron.
He said trade LeBron, folks.
You're not talking 5 years. And even if you do keep LeBron for 3 years, you're not going anywhere.
He said trade LeBron.
Golden State is already there. Phoenix is right there. The Lakers are not going to be better than Dallas. So let's go with the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Let's go with the Utah Jazz. Who are the Lakers going to be? And guess what? You're going to have the Clippers knocking on the Lakers' back door next year in the Staples Center. So long term, this is a disaster. Cut your Cut
They're
your
gonna
bait.
add pieces to the team.
I wasn't gonna jump in,
they're
but
gonna make some
I'll let
trades.
Terry go. Look at T.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Hefe KC in the chat.
Hey.
He's saying if he's a Lakers, he would go all in on Bradley Beal. And then he
I like
also
that.
said,
I like that.
just send LeBron to Dallas. And he's, I think what he's saying, send him there and see what happens. So
Yeah, I like the Bradley Bill.
you know,
though.
this is
I like the Bradley Bill.
I
That's
mean,
a
I
good
like
move.
LeBron
I
to
like that
Dallas.
too.
I like now. You give me Bradley Bill. You bring Bradley Bill to the Lakers for I don't know who you're trading, but I like Bradley Bill. I like that. I like that move.
I like LeBron to
It's-
Dallas.
Go ahead, Terry.
It's all kind of hypothetical. I mean, all this talk, but I don't. I mean, for as much as he stays injured, I would essentially. You're saying you're swapping Ben Simmons for Anthony Davis. I don't. I would not
One
do
bad
that.
back
I mean,
for another injury. Okay, yeah.
I mean, the thing is, right, Emerson, I'll support you on this. When he's healthy and he's motivated, Anthony Davis is the best power forward center in the game. Again, when he's healthy.
What if?
Russell Westbrook for Kyrie, that part of the trade I like and would try to do, just because it's not really Kyrie's talent that is the issue. It's his motivation to play games. And if you're looking at LeBron, this is a guy that basically took J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert when he was in Cleveland, and they played a big part in them winning a championship one year. So, you know, they say LeBron has the ability to get the best out of players. I could see him possibly, now this is a big maybe, somehow motivate, keeping Kyrie focused. But I don't know. Ben Simmons, if his game hasn't improved, it'd be just like he was getting another Russell Westbrook. You know, there's not much that you could do when a player can't hit a 10 to 15 foot shot. You know, but maybe Russ is an exception and Ben Simmons will turn his game around. But it's all hypothetical. It'll never. I don't think this will ever pan out.
Yeah, this is all what ifs. Yep.
The F factor.
Yeah. What if?
Yeah. The Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson settles 20 out of the 24 cases. Settlements. Guys,
money.
happy retirement once again to Tampa Bay Buccaneers tight end Rob Gronkowski, 4-time Super Bowl champion, is retiring again. So long, adios, arrivederci. Don't let he was one thing I will say about Gronk for the big man, he had soft hands.
The best tight end ever?
No. I can't put him as best tight end ever.
Wow.
Who would you give that to?
Sharp.
I would have
would you
to
give that
say
to?
one of the best tight ends was Winslow.
Who? What Winslow? Give us be a
The
little more
San Diego
specific.
Chargers.
Kellen Winslow.
Do you think he
Winslow.
was more than Gronk? To me,
Yeah.
Gronk is uncoverable. You couldn't
gotta
put
remember
nothing on him.
The style of football that the old man had to play compared to Gronk, he would have been a beast.
Nah, Gronk could play any year. That's us.
No, I'm talking about the father for San Diego.
Yeah. You
Winslow.
saying he playing in a tougher era, right?
No, I'm when I say tougher era, there was more bumping.
Yeah,
you can
could do
beat up on
different
the
things,
guy
yeah.
all the way down the field.
Yeah.
In today's game, you've got to give them space.
There was nobody that can cover Gronk. This era, I'm not
No.
Patriots
I'm saying
man.
I'm not giving nothing away. I'm not taking nothing away from
No.
Gronk. But I'm saying that there was other tight ends in different eras that didn't have that open space compared to what Gronk did.
Yeah.
Now you take some of those.
Gronk had that. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, T.
Gronk had that open space, and it ended up to me actually when he didn't have that open space, kind of shortening his career. But he had that open space because Aaron Hernandez was on the other side. Another could have been mentioned as one of the best tight ends in the game if he had kept his head on straight. But Gronk, his size, he was physical. But I give Kellen Winslow his props, but there's a lot of great tight ends. Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
What about Kelsey?
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Yeah. Gates.
Yeah, let's not forget. Yeah, Gonzalez. Yeah. I mean, that list is long of tight ends.
Yeah. I mean, even you can even stake, Whitman. For the Cowboys.
Oh,
he
ain't
in that
longevity.
He ain't in that category.
I'm not saying he was better than Gronk. No.
I'm not saying he's in the top 10.
He's not in that.
I'm not saying that he's in the top 10.
You brought him up.
No, I'm bringing him up because he was a good tight end.
He's good. There's a lot of good tight ends. But I'm talking about game-changing tight ends.
If I'm talking great,
Gonzalez.
That's what we're talking.
I would say Gonzalez. I would say I would go with Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow, senior. Make sure you say senior.
Because for me, I like to go with tight ends who didn't have that clean style of football.
Well, that's
you had a lot of hand checking going on back then in the Kellen Winslow era.
My point is, you can't check Gronk at the line.
Yeah,
that's why they was off him.
Yeah, that's exactly what Hefe KC is saying. He's saying that's the reason why Kelsey is such a so good, because you can't manhandle him at the line.
Yeah.
You can't. Tight ends like that, they have the size and the speed. You can't. I don't care if you check them or not.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just tough cover.
Cafe, thank you. Yeah.
And hold on. What about Antonio Gates? Remember him?
I said Gates, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you said Gates, yeah. Antonio Gates, still. I mean, the list is long.
Yeah.
It was different eras, different times.
Next week you can write down a list of your top 5, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Gronk's career, like I said, he wouldn't be retiring right now, in my opinion. But again, losing Aaron Hernandez kind of shook. He was getting those double teams. He was taking a lot of those hits from 2 people when it really should have been one person tackling him.
But if you take a look at Gronk when he came out of college, Gronk fell in the draft because he couldn't stay healthy.
Oh.
He had a lot of injuries in college. So, but take nothing away from the man. The man is one of the best tight ends that ever played the game.
No doubt.
And like Carol Burnett would say, I'm so glad we had this time together, but we must wrap up this show. So, Emerson.
Man, I'm not ready to go, man.
Right. Well, you can stay on. You can stay on all night. You can
do your swag. You can do
moves all you want. Electric slide and all.
Oh my goodness.
You can even break out with a Billy Ray Cyrus and do an achy breaky heart dance.
Yeah.
Terry,
give the people what they want.
Yep. Please tell us about the subscribe button again.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight's show. Again, hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend. Tell a friend of a friend. Tell your friends to tell a friend. And tune in next week because we got the NBA draft coming up tomorrow night. So we'll be talking about that, giving our thoughts on that. And on that note, God bless and good night.
Yep.
Emerson. Shimmy,
good night, everybody. And we'll see you next time right here live on XO Sports Talk, the greatest and the hottest sports talk show in the land. Good night.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Hey,
It's all over.
hey, Joe. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in, Joe. Come check us out next week, man. No
Yo,
worries.
Joe, what
Yeah.
up, Joe?
And
Hit that
I see that
notification
we have-
bell.
we have Bethany Grace in the chat room. Thank you once
Bethany,
again.
hello.
On the show.
Yep.
Hey,
Thank you all for tuning in. We love it. We love
Yep.
it. Tune in. Yes.
We'll
what's
be
up,
back.
Joe? Joe, watch
Yeah,
the show.
we'll be
Watch the
back.
playback of the
Sports
show,
Exo
Joe.
Sports. We'll be back. Exo Sports. We're coming back.